Hey there, I'm Jax with Crazy Squirrel Games.
I'm Calvin with Next Gen Escape.
And we're here on Shop Talk, where we just talk about being nerdy entrepreneurs.
And I guess now we are building Legos.
We are building Legos because Legos are fun and we build businesses and Legos are easier.
Legos are a lot easier. They have pre-made instructions made in Danish, which I guess is also non-existent. There's not a single written word. There's no, yeah.
Yeah, Lego doesn't do printed written directions. They only use graphics. Because that way they only have to print them once for any box in the world, really. So.
Which is pretty smart. I am in the process of making a game and I'm considering finding a way to make it where you can play it without any words.
That would be cool.
I don't know how we're gonna do it, but I've been thinking about if it's possible, and I think it might be.
So why are you thinking of adding something new? Or how do you decide when it's time to bring in something new?
Well, unfortunately for me, I'm just always wanting to do something new. It's maybe the ADHD in me, the soul has to just be looking and searching for something else.
I don't know what you're talking about.
When it comes to making new products, finding new products, or what?
Yeah, well, in your case, I think you guys make new things a lot, whereas I bring in new things. That's like the basis of my job is picking inventory.
Right, and we just recently got a little bit new inventory, but I see what you mean that we physically have to make our product. We also have about 50 feet in retail, but that's kind of pales in comparison to what you do and also pales to what we actually do as our main business with the escape room. Choosing our different games has been a feat. We've actually changed how we do that over time.
Oh yeah?
Originally at our first location, we definitely did the traditional like shotgun approach that most escape rooms do, where they have a bunch of different themes. But we had one theme in particular there that we really enjoyed. It was called King's Keep. It was a medieval dungeon themed room. Yeah. And it really resonated with our players. So we wanted to continue with that lineage here. So we kept up and we have 3 rooms right now. We're going to have 4 rooms that are all medieval fantasy themed, all set in the same universe and all take place in the same canonical story. So you can start in one room, go into the next room. People have been really enjoying that it's so different than other escape rooms, and we wouldn't have known that that's what we'd want to do if we hadn't have had all those other games that we've made beforehand, that we realized, oh wow, we can really do something truly different here, which is pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I haven't seen another place that really does a level up thing like you guys do, so that's pretty interesting to me. So then how do you decide when you change out your rooms to something new?
Yeah, so we have not had to experience that yet. That is a hot topic that a lot of people ask us about because you can only play most of our games once. Right. There's one game you can play multiple times because it's a high score based game, but the other ones you're probably only ever gonna do once. Maybe in a few years you might replay it. There's gonna be a small minority of people who played our games multiple times, but eventually we're gonna burn through if you think about it, through the players that could or want to play those types of games, and we'll have to create something new at that point. Unfortunately, we are also a tourist hub, and we get lots of people who come in and out of town. And so they help us out a lot. They have money to spend. They want to do something fun. They might be in between a flight at the Fresno area international airport, or they might be going to Yosemite. That's typically pretty common for our players. Yeah. But you guys have an insane amount of products. You guys have an entire store. It's what, 2,000 square feet?
Yeah, the retail side is just over 2,000 square feet.
And every year there's new games and there's new card games too that all compete for literally the same shelf space. That's also got to be a lot to figure out and make sense and make profitable.
Making profitable is definitely the hard part. And we have about 4,000 line items in the store, so that means we have about 4,000 items, maybe closer to 4,500 because many of them are variables. So like, yeah, trying to figure out what we're gonna bring in and what we're not gonna bring in is...
I have a humble 3.
It's good. You do other things. That's good. Yeah. So like, Gamma Expo is coming up in a couple weeks, and that's the tabletop games industry big professional organization. So when I go there, about half of my time is spent in the vendor hall. And that vendor hall is huge now. It's like you cannot walk the entire vendor hall in a day.
And see everything.
And
right,
see everything, yeah. So I'll spend a lot of time there. And typically what I do, because I've been in business now for 15 years, all the big vendors and distributors are at the front of the hall, but I know that all my competitors are gonna get all of their stuff, right? Because it's the stuff that's easy to get.
It's the stuff that you most likely want to get, I guess.
It's the low-hanging fruit.
That your players want, right.
Yeah. So I go straight to the back of the hall where you find the smaller, more independent vendors. And I talk to them and see what they're doing and see what is good with them. And I walk that hall with other game store retailers who own various sizes of stores. And I'm kind of known as one of the RPG people, so they'll take my advice when it comes to indie RPGs.
You have a massive selection of different games to choose from here.
It's really good. But like painting, I know very little about. So I walked the hall with some friends that I made at the show 2 or 3 years ago, and they knew everything about minis and painting. And that's why I now carry 5 lines of paint. Because I brought them in, we knew we had a lot of painters, and now we're the place to go for paints in town.
I was just commenting with Kia last week, I think, that it's an entire wall now
It
that
is.
you have.
It's a giant wall. It's a lot, and like 2 of the lines, I'm like, we're gonna bring them in. Citadel and Army Painter, they're just kind of industry standards. Everybody knows about them. They're the easy way to go that way. And then we started getting into a little more esoteric, like Turbo Dork. And then we finally, like Vallejo became available in America more regularly. So now we have a higher end of paint. And it really is just kind of following where the customers lead me, right? Because they're gonna come in and ask about stuff. It's also hard sometimes because game companies will make public announcements about new things before they tell retailers. And then we have people calling us and asking about, hey, did you hear about this new game? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I've been at work. So like there's a couple of industry magazines to read. There's listening to our customers. I listen to my staff all the time, right? I've got a really good crack staff who understands CCGs way better than I do. They are interested in that product because they play, so they follow the news, so they know what sets are going to be hot.
They get it. They're actually into the hobby.
Right?
Right.
So they're basically in charge of ordering our CCGs now because my first boss, when I got out of college, the most important thing he told me is when you become a manager, you hire people that are smarter than you in the thing that you need them to do, and then your job is to keep obstacles out of their way. So that's what I try to do. I know a lot of stuff about the store and a lot of stuff about games, but I can never know everything about games. Which is why, like, when you guys opened and I saw you had retail, I was also very willing to say, like, hey, have you tried this kind of game here? Or I think this would work. Because even though we're right across the street, we're not competitors. Not in that way.
Not
right?
really. No.
So, and then the other thing I use is I talk to retailer friends all the time. Like, literally every day. I talk to a bunch of my retailer friends online. And when new products come out, we tell each other. When I go to Expo, I will have at least like 3 active chat threads with people that'll say like, oh, you gotta go to booth 782, it's amazing.
Oh, check this thing out, yeah.
Yeah. I believe in my retailing friends so much that last year I had to leave Expo early. And they all saw a great product come out, these new LARPing swords that we're carrying. And I spent $2,500 with that company solely on basis of the words of my friends. Because I had crazy stuff going on.
Yeah,
but I know
crazy.
that if they think it's gonna work, more than likely it's gonna work. So finding your peers in whatever industry you're in is huge. Like talking with you guys, because we're geek related, gives me new ideas all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's the only way I can figure out how to pick product. Now, getting rid of product that doesn't sell, it's a whole other story.
That's a whole other couple stories.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I think that's really it. If anybody out there has questions or advice on how to pick product, because seriously, that's like a skill. That's some kind of...
Yep, it's something that you can try your best at and you can still fail.
Right. Some businesses have buyers, people that are trained in that and know how to do it. I'm so jealous of that. Like, but we just can't afford that right now. But yeah, it's a skill. We'll see how good I am at it a month from now.
We'll see. I'm sure you're going to do fine. It's always a success for you. It seems you always come back with new and cool stuff that people want.
It is not always a success, but I'm willing to accept the praise. Yeah. But thanks for joining us this week. This week we'll be back at some point when our producer Kiara tells us that we're supposed to be. And meanwhile, we'll continue working on our little Lego projects as well. Right?
I have something together. I don't know what this is quite yet.
Bye.
Bye. Goodbye.